Vale, y mientras va preparando la siguiente charla, bueno, él es Yannick, es un desarrollador que yo no lo conocía hasta hace poquito tiempo, pero la verdad es que sus extensiones son una maravilla. Y hoy viene a presentarnos una, ya sabéis que está muy de moda la inteligencia artificial, ChatGPT, etcétera, etcétera. Y la extensión que nos viene a presentar hoy Yannick, pues es sobre eso, ¿no? Cómo integrar el ChatGPT dentro de Joomla, y veréis que se pueden hacer cosas muy chulas y muy potentes. Así que, Yannick, todo tuyo.
Muchas gracias de nuevo. La cosa es que no voy a hablar en español por toda la charla, porque es demasiado difícil para mí. Pero I have to switch. It's too difficult. But I hope I can help you understand what I'm saying, because I have enabled automatic translation in my slides. So with a little bit of luck, if it works, you're going to be able to see subtitles in Spanish. We'll see. Yeah, we'll see. Ya veremos, sí. Okay. But the thing is not subtitles, it's supposed to translate. So anyway, we're going to talk about using AI, artificial intelligence, within Joomla in a fairly practical manner. I assume, let's check a little bit. Yeah, not bad. So I assume all of you, or most of you, have used ChatGPT already. I don't know, who hasn't? Hasn't? You haven't? It's not secure, maybe? Anyway. And it's excellent and it's working, but I believe there's more to do and it needs integration with Joomla, so that's what we've been trying to do. So before I start, I don't have that much time, so I have a few slides to present things, and if everything works, again, I'll be showing you how I'll be doing a quick demonstration of our products. Just a few things before. So my name is Yannick Gautier. I run the company called Weebler.com, and today we've been doing that forever. Joomla since 2005, but I was doing Mambo before, so I've been around for a long time. In the past, I was developing the extension called SH404Ceph. So I've been working with SEO and generating content and creating content for a long time in Joomla. Today we have because this is just a small company, it's just me and my wife. So we have a range of extensions, modern extensions for SEO and content. That includes 4SEO, our big product. And the one I'm going to we also have a podcast extension, if everybody is feeling like starting a podcast like Carlos is doing. We have a podcast extension that lets you run a fully featured podcast inside your Joomla site. I encourage you, it's great if you want to do that. We also have an SEO extension. And we have the 4AI extensions that are dedicated to using AI in Joomla. Yeah, the translation is going to be a bit funky for that, but yeah, you have to manage expectations here and yeah, anyway. So 4AI is an AI-powered assistant. It's something that sits in Joomla to help you use AI within your Joomla site all the time. So I'm going to start by saying a few words about what's AI, maybe a little bit of a history. I'm also going to talk a little bit about search engines and how they use AI and what sort of impact that has on your Joomla sites today. And then we're going to see how we can use 4AI inside of Joomla. So I'm going to be very quick on that. I don't have reset the time, so anyway. So today AI is very different. What we call AI is very different from what we called AI a long time ago, because things have been moving very fast. It all started really in 2017 when Google, and there's a lot of Google in AI because they pretty much invented everything there. But they had a paper called Transformers, and that's pretty much what transformed AI because it became practical. So and that was in 2017. 2018 and so they made much progress during the 2018, up until 2022, and Facebook too as well, and Microsoft and all these guys, the big guys. But this was mostly for internal tools. That's how they started translating your contents. That's how they started doing this with automatic translation in Skype or in Facebook, translating your posts. But it was mostly internal to them. You couldn't use that. And then in 2022, at the start of 2022, we started seeing public applications of AI. So first with developer tools, GitHub Copilot that helps programmers, developers write programs. Typedyne is another one. And then the first one really was DALL-E, and very quickly Stable Diffusion in Midjourney, which were free and which allowed people to create images. And maybe that's how you started getting into AI at the time, I don't know. But the big thing is on November 30 of last year, ChatGPT came to the world, and it changed everything because it was public for everyone, because it was free of charge, because they have billions from Microsoft to spend, so they could be free. And it was general purpose. It was not meant anymore just to do translation, or it was not meant to create content or create images. It was general purpose. And it felt, that's behind the translation, but it feels like it's intelligent because you can talk to it. I tend to say talk to him, but it's actually not a male or female, and it's not a person, it's just a computer. Anyway, so it changed everything at the time. Very quickly, because we tend to think they are actually intelligent, but these things, what they do is you give them a sentence or a few words, and what they do is try to predict the next word that fits the previous one. So they don't really think, or they don't really understand what you're saying. They only you ask a question, and they try to find the most likely, the word that has the highest probability to be right after the question marks in your questions. That's all they do. But because they have been trained on a very large amount of data, it feels like magic, and it feels like they actually understand what you're saying. A consequence also, they had so the company behind ChatGPT is called OpenAI. You're probably familiar with that name, but I'll just mention that because I'm going to probably say it again later. And the two big things in July of this year, they had GPT-4, which is an improvement over the first GPT, a major improvement, technically speaking. And they also have, and they've been for a while, they have an API. I think you say the same thing, use the same word in Spanish, right? API. It means we can build products that talk to their servers, and we can ask replies from Joomla, from WordPress, from Drupal, from inside of other things. So that also changes everything, because we can now build products. So we had that ChatGPT coming, and of course, immediately everybody was going, okay, programmers are going to be out of job. AI can create a website in 5 seconds, so you're all out of a job because we don't need you anymore. Translators are out of a job because we don't need anybody to translate anything. Writers are not needed to write things because we can do this with AI. And internet is going to be flooded with low quality content written by AI. SEO is dead. Google is dead, of course, because Google is dead every year. Reality is that these systems are full of bugs. I'm gonna let you decide which one you think is true. I think AI cannot really create good websites yet, so you have some time left. I think translators are in trouble, most of them, because you're going to see what automatic translation can do, and that's not a good example, but there's more later. I think internet is already flooded with bad content, so yeah, I expect there'll be more, but it will probably go away at some point. I don't think SEO is dead, and Google is definitely not dead, because they are the forefront, and they are going to be there much more. Anyway, these systems are full of bugs. They work very well, and they can do some things very well, but not everything. You're familiar with that, they hallucinate. So basically, because they try to, remember we said they try to predict the next word in a sentence, even if they don't know what they are talking about, they will always predict the next word. So it can be anything. And that's why they can come up with things like, I removed this example because I had this one which was very good and very nice. Up until this summer, if you asked ChatGPT how to recognize an egg from a chicken from an egg from a cow, it will reply. It would say, oh, it's very easy to recognize an egg from a cow because it's bigger than the one from a chicken. Unfortunately for me, they fixed that this summer, and if you ask now, it's going to say, cows don't lay eggs, but it was very funny. But they still do. The problem is, this one was funny, but when you ask them about how do I do something very important, it's possible that they're going to do something equivalent to that. So you just always have to keep that in mind. But that's a different problem, they also use a lot of resources, much more than your web servers, the web servers that you use, much more than YouTube, much more than anything you can think of in terms of IT. But they can do some things extremely well, so that's what we are going to talk about. Now, one thing I mentioned, it's about search engines, how things are going to change. Things are going to change, they're already changing, but remember that Google was already using a lot of AI internally. So not everything is changing. There are still search engines. So the problem with LLMs, with large language models such as ChatGPT, is that they have it's funny if you think about it, because they are supposed to be smart and can answer anything, but they have no memory. They don't remember anything. So they have a memory it varies, but it can be basically only 4 kilobytes. The old people here in the room, if there are any, aside from me, not really, but they remember when you had your first computers and they had 8 kilobytes of memory. So this is the kind of memory that these machines have. So we still need search engines. And you still want your website to be part of the answers that these search engines, that people are finding you, basically. So you still need to be found by Google and Bing, and you still need to be preferred by these search engines when they reply to questions compared to your competition. So you have to keep that in mind. Essentially, SEO has not changed at all. To give you an illustration of what's going to happen, I don't think this is happening in Europe, but this is how the Google announced, and this is already available in the US for sure, and in North America. This is how it's going to work for many queries. You ask a question, and if they are sure they know about, they can write a meaningful reply to your question, they're going to put this. This is they call generative answer. So they are going to reply like ChatGPT would, or Bard, the LLM would. This is already happening. And then they have what you could call the regular search results. So it's not in Europe there. It's being tested. They are trying. They don't know exactly how many links they are going to put there, whether they are going to have more links here. It's in progress. It's happening, but it's already happened. But the point is, like I said, you still want to be here, and you also probably want to be found here. You probably want to be part of their reply. So it doesn't change much for SEO. So now, for AI, yeah. See, it's not even the translation is not perfect for AI. Okay. So like I said, there are things they do well, and there are things they do pretty bad. So the work we've done with 4AI is trying to identify what AI is doing well, and integrate that into Joomla in a way that's really easy to use. I have identified several areas: content creation, translation. I'll go back to that. But the summary of what I found is that to create content, write new articles or write things, they are usually, it can be good and it can be bad. It's pretty good when you ask them to write small things starting from something. It's pretty bad if you just want them to write an article about what happened at Joomla Day Spain in Madrid in October 2023. They're going to go wild usually. It's going to be it's possibly okay, but usually not that much. So creating content from scratch is not what they do best. Translation, it works very well. Text processing, that is things like providing you with a summary, writing description, writing a title, or reduce in size, they do pretty well because they start from something that exists and they shorten it, so they are doing pretty well. If you go the other way around, you want to expand, you have a little bit of text, you want them to write something that's longer with more details, yeah, it's not so good. And you ask them, for instance, to restyle, that is, I have a piece of content that's written in a way that's really relaxed, enthusiastic, and you want something more professional, they can do that, but it's, again, it works or it doesn't work, so you have to see. There's another area which works very well, it's search. Like, we could really improve the search on your Joomla website by having something that works like ChatGPT. Like, your users could ask, okay, can you find me a dress that looks like this one, but in red or whatever. It could work very well, except to achieve that, we need something that's called a vector database, and that's not available in your regular hosting. You need something else, which means it costs a bit of money. So, but to me, it's really one of the things that's really promising, and we could have that on our Joomla website in the near future, I hope. There are several providers of AI API. The most well-known are OpenAI, Azure, which is Microsoft. They also use OpenAI internally, but it's for big guys. I don't think you need to be a managed customer, so it's like you have millions of users. There are other ones like Cohere, 1AI, Claude. They are either expensive or still private. You can't access them. So the only real contender today is OpenAI. And what I believe is going to be the future of that is to use your own data. I mentioned search. Training these systems on your own data, on the data from your content, from your own website is the future, probably, for most of us. They can be used, interestingly, they can be used internally. That is, like you have a big company and they have a knowledge base, or they want to train their future users. Like they have what's called an intranet. I think you use that as well. There are many things that can be done there to maintain and make the know-how of the company to be searchable. And also there are a few smaller open source models, so there's something that could happen there, but we don't know because, again, there's a problem of resources. You need huge servers with graphic cards, and it costs lots of money, so we don't know what's going to happen. Okay, so we created the start of this year 4AI. And there were already a couple of plugins available, but they were really just ChatGPT, like a small box you could ask a question. So I didn't see the point of that. And with the problem, and also you could say, okay, but I can just go to ChatGPT and ask my questions and things. You can, but it's not that practical and not that easy. Just an example is, what if you have an article and you want to spell it or translate it to some other language or change the tone or insert keywords? You need to keep the formatting. You need all the images to stay in place and everything. If you just copy-paste to ChatGPT, then you have a problem because it will mess up your content. So there were work to do. And also prompting, that is asking the question to ChatGPT, is not that easy unless you have very simple things to ask. So I developed what's called guided prompting, where you actually don't have to write the prompt, but you just ask a quick question, and 4AI does it for you. And there are 5 areas where we have found features to be added. Transforming content, creating content, SEO, social, and just chatting, because you still need to chat sometimes. So transforming content is when you want to do grammar spelling, translate things, or change the size, or rewrite for keywords, because we are into SEO, so sometimes you want to add more keywords. Creating content is obvious, you want to create content, but the thing is sometimes you want to create an email, like you send an email with ASCII mailing. Yeah, we have external visitors. Yeah, I shouldn't have done that. It's going to be, yeah. Okay, anyway. It works. Yeah. Or you can have just an outline of the content, but you can also create full articles with and here the goal is not that much to create the content itself, but more to make it easy to interface the AI with your Joomla site, like managing association or just creating the article itself. In terms of SEO, we can do write title, we can write text description, something that's often overlooked, but it's very good. They are very good at extracting keywords, and if you do some more advanced SEO, you want to extract keywords from your content so that you can use them to write hashtags, for instance, or run ads campaign. So it's very good at extracting keywords and suggesting keywords that are related to the first one. And again, that's something that SEO are going to want to have to do ads campaigns, for instance. In terms of social, it makes, if you have written an article on your website, it's then very easy to have the system generate a LinkedIn post or a Facebook post for you, or a tweet about that. It's very interesting, you'll see that. And then chatting, because there's a benefit of chatting through 4AI, chatting just like you would with ChatGPT. The benefits are two. First, it's usually cheaper. If you want to do GPT-4 with ChatGPT, you have to pay the $20 per month fee, which is okay and fine. But if you don't have big use, then you can use 4AI and use the API, because it's cheaper if you pay by the words, essentially, up to a point, of course. And the thing also is that if you use the API here, the data you enter, the question you ask, is not going to be used to train GPT-5 and GPT-6 and the other ones. So it might be important to you. It is to me. Okay. There are some limitations. At the time, GPT-4, the higher quality model, is quite slow. But the previous version is quite okay, so it's pretty decently fast and you can use that. They have, you remember when I said about the memory, they have currently 2 versions of GPT-4 with 8,000 words roughly, or 32K's memory. So if the kind of question and the kind of text you can send them is limited to that. The previous one are either 4K or 6. 4K is actually pretty small because it includes both your questions and their reply. So if you want them to spell check an article that's, I don't know, one full page of text, it's a little bit of a limit, this 4K limit here. Okay, so let's see. I have a bit of time, I think. Let's see how it works. So what you're seeing here, what you're seeing here is the 4AI component. You're probably never going to be using that, because the only thing you really do here, it shows you some stats about usage, and the only thing you need to do really is to enter your API key that you get from the OpenAI website. I've been asked that question a lot, so I repeat it here. You don't need to pay for ChatGPT plus the $20 per month to use that. Okay, just get out of the way. You do pay for every request you made, but you don't need to pay the $20 per month. It's important because the cost for a normal usage is really, really low. Like, I use it almost daily, and I pay $1 or $2 per month through the API. Now, of course, if you have 20 writers that use it all day long to do things, then it's probably going to cost some money, but it's really cheap. So the only configuration you really need is that. And then what you have, I do need 2 hands to do that, so we'll see. The thing that matters is this. You have this, when it's configured, you have this little icon here that you can put everywhere you like. And then you have that on most pages, most Joomla pages. So I probably have only 5 minutes or less about that. Okay, so I'm going to just give you a quick example on how you can use that and keeping my fingers crossed. This is a regular Joomla 4 website. I have a few articles here. And you can use it everywhere. So this is Joomla articles, but of course, if you want to go to, if you have a Virtumart store or you have a JDayES business directory, it works not exactly the same, not as well, but you can still use it really efficiently. So I have here, I'm going to use that article here. This is a multilingual website. I'm going to use it to show you a few things. So I have this article here. You'll see the translation later, hopefully, but it's a very interesting article about how you can clean your clothes, and I'm sure you're very interested in all of you are very interested in that. And when you open an article like that in the regular Joomla editor page, it works the same on the front end, by the way. You can click this or press a shortcut, and you have the interface opening, so it stays where it was before. So here you see the 4 or the 5 categories I outlined earlier. I'm going to just show you quickly how the chat works. It's just a chat. So you ask a question. You have a few settings here and options. It tells you how many words you are using with your questions, how many left you have, and the estimated cost, at least, of your questions. You can see the number of 0 here. It's not going to cost a lot. You select the model here. If most of the time you're going to be using 3.5, and if you have a very complex, difficult question, you switch to GPT-4, which is going to cost a bit more. Here, I'm going to stick to GPT-3 because it's faster. So you just press a key and you wait for the reply, and hopefully it's going to work just like it worked before. Yeah, great. Okay, so you can see you can ask questions in Spanish or English or anything, and the software itself is translated to 22 languages. And in case you wonder, all these translations here have been done automatically. Carlos used to translate our other extensions. Yeah, but you're out of a job now. So sorry about that. But there are still some issues, and I'm sure you'll find some issues, but it just works, and it's really fast. So you got the answer like you would directly from the chat. And so you can ask quick questions directly from inside your Joomla site, but that's not the point. So the point here is more like, because we have opened the 4AI window from inside an article, then it picked up the article content, and now you can do a few things with it. You can transform it, you can create content, you can do some SEO actions based on it. So let's see first, because it shows everything, I think, the language. I'm going to ask for the translation of that text, and you're going to see what happened next. So I have this article. It's not so too long, so I'm going to just ask it to translate. I expect it to take about 20 seconds about that. So it's not, unfortunately, it's not instant, because there's a little bit of text to write. But if you ask it to create shorter contents, like a tweet or a title, it's going to be really, really quick. Like the chat was really quick was rather quick to reply to us. That's all I have to say. So now we just have to wait. Yeah, it worked very well before. Yeah, so here it is. So what I insist on here is the integration. The goal is not, I mean, you can use ChatGPT wherever, as you want, but the point is to make it easy for non-specialist people to do this. So here, if you see a translation, it has translated the article, and if you can notice that it translated as well. It kept all the formatting, including the caption here, for instance. I assume the translation is okay. You probably want to fix that, and you can fix that. But it also did the translation and then came up with a new title that you can see here and a meta description. And what you can do here, you can save this article as a new one. So I have the English version, and I'm going to save this article as a new article. So I have the title, which is there because it was part of the translation, and I have also the meta description. You can also select another author, and the only thing you have to do is pick a category because it knows it's a translation. So it's going to be, I'm going to save that. I have only one Spanish category. I save it here, and now I can save this as a translation. So it created an article, and it made the association. You remember you know the translation association with Joomla, within Joomla. So as you can see here, I have this. This article was created with ID 26, and I can edit this article. That's the article. It's not published by default. It's all translated. It's got a title. It's got a meta description already translated. And if you look at the associations, so we translated the English one, but the English one was already associated with the French one and the Dutch one. So all the associations have been put together. That's just for the translation. Of course, I'm speaking about translation, but if you don't translate, you just create an article, you can just save the article and it will do that. Okay, now I just have 1 minute left. What else? Yeah, okay, so I'm going to go back very quickly. I want to show you one more thing. So I go back to my original article in English. Things you can do, you can create a tweet. It shows the text. I asked it to create a series of tweets, 2 tweets in a row. And that's what it's doing. It's telling you in Spanish, starting from an article in English, because we can. I asked it to do it in Spanish. It's in the settings. And so it wrote this series of tweets about the content of your article. So you can write now something in Spanish and have tweets written for you, and you can actually directly tweet it from here. Of course, you're going to need maybe some adjustment. I put the link to an image so that you can use that. I put the link to the original text, and so it's directly usable from here. Same for writing title or description. I think we have that. The thing is the integration. So it's going to write a description. You click a button and you get the translation or the description injected. It offered you 3 of them here. And you just click here to replace the translation right into the Joomla meta description field. So this is all about how you can use AI within Joomla easily. And when I say you, I mean your users, because that's generally the point. In the same way, I'm going to just show you that very quickly. But when you edit an article on the front end, I'm here on the front end, I have an article here, you can just the same open this and you have the exact same features. Okay, so that's it for me. It was really quick. I'll be around if you want to talk more about this or have questions. I'm not sure we have time for questions. That's it. Thank you. Muchas gracias. Sorry about, or disculpe para no tener una traducción durante la demostración, pero de momento no se puede.